Welcome to Popcorn Playback. Today we have another movie recap for you. But before we get to the storyline, like and subscribe for more recaps, and have a great day.
The movie commences by introducing Sue, a young girl who finds solace in daydreaming about her favorite superhero, Supermoon, featured in a beloved comic book. One day, she abruptly awakens from her daydream to find her classroom completely deserted. At school, Sue is plagued by the feeling of being invisible, particularly among the popular crowd who barely acknowledge her presence. After school, Sue's father, Christoph, arrives to collect her, bearing a special birthday surprise in store for her. Sue is determined to convey to her mother, Maria, that she is not entirely overlooked, even though Maria, engrossed in her scientific work, often neglects her. Maria is on the brink of delivering a speech at a scientific event hosted by Dr. Drill, while Sue and Christoph diligently prepare a birthday surprise for her within the laboratory. However, an unfortunate incident involving a birthday candle triggers a fire alarm, leading to Maria's infuriation at Sue and Christoph for disrupting her crucial day. Sue's attempt to capture her mother's attention leaves her feeling dejected and frustrated. In a fit of anger, she inadvertently hurls the birthday cake, resulting in a chaotic mess within the lab. Inside the lab, panic ensues, and Sue, in a desperate attempt to fix things, randomly presses buttons, only exacerbating the situation. She overhears a peculiar robotic voice, though she doesn't pay it much mind. When she ventures to inspect the reactor, the lab activates a lockdown mechanism, confining her within. An explosion follows, but fortunately, Sue escapes with only minor injuries. During the ride home with her father, Sue observes an unusual blue glow emanating from her wound, but opts to keep it to herself. The following morning, Sue wakes up to the startling revelation that her left limb is gradually vanishing, causing her to retch in shock. Despite her condition, she adheres to her daily school routine, bidding farewell to her father, who is departing for a business trip. While at her school locker, Sue encounters a friendly young man named Tobias, sparking a connection based on their shared enthusiasm for Supermoon comics. However, their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the appearance of Eileen and her clique, who habitually target Sue. Frustrated by her inexplicable vanishing episodes, Sue suddenly disappears once more, slipping into the school restroom for some privacy. Inside, she proceeds to wash her hands, and her reappearance catches another girl off guard, who mistakenly believes the restroom is haunted. Slowly but surely, Sue begins to reappear as she cools her hands with running water. Still perplexed by her peculiar condition, Sue resolves to visit her mother's laboratory. Upon her unexpected arrival, Maria is surprised to see Sue and expresses a desire to run some tests, but Sue adamantly declines. She's upset that her mother views her as nothing more than a scientific experiment. Sue is aware that her mother's experiment, NT26D, was originally designed to enhance human health, and her own blood became involved in the explosion, granting her this unique power to disappear. Sue's newfound ability to vanish only occurs when she's in proximity to warm objects, and it lasts as long as she's close to heat sources. Maria suggests that Sue should stay at home until they fully comprehend her new ability, but Sue steadfastly refuses and heads off to school. While at school, she encounters Tobias once again, who nervously asks her to spend some time together. But Eileen and her group reappear, insinuating that Tobias is too cool to associate with Sue. In the midst of this interaction, Eileen receives an embarrassing call with a bizarre ringtone and hastily departs. It turns out that Kaya, also known as App, an eccentric member of the robotics club, orchestrated the prank call. After the school day concludes, Sue returns to her mother's lab, where Maria and Linnea, another scientist, conduct various tests on her condition. Through their experiments, they make a groundbreaking discovery. Everything Sue touches disappears when she turns invisible. This revelation is corroborated when Sue accidentally touches Linnea while in her invisible state, causing Linnea to experience a surge of power and inspiration. Maria's concern escalates as she becomes increasingly fearful of her daughter's condition, apprehensive about its potential dangers, and the possibility of her groundbreaking experiment being misused. Maria contemplates the deletion of her experiments, a decision that deeply upsets Sue. Their interaction concludes on a sour note, and they part ways with strained emotions. In search of solace, Sue retreats to the school's basement and decides to take a nap there. To her surprise, App is the first person who can actually see her. Following their eerie encounter in the basement, Sue and App decide to head to a nearby diner to grab a meal. While at the diner, Sue attempts to elucidate her strange condition to App, but their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of Eileen, who is evidently prepared to taunt them once more. Seizing the opportunity, Sue harnesses her invisibility to startle and prank Eileen, leaving her and App astounded. Meanwhile, Dr. Drill stumbles upon footage of Maria and Linnea studying the invisible Sue within the laboratory. When Maria and Sue finally return home, an unforeseen event unfolds as Maria is suddenly abducted by unidentified men. Still groggy from her nap, Sue hears her mother's desperate cries and her urgent instructions to locate someone named Alfred, recognizable by a distinctive red mask. Fully comprehending the gravity of the situation, Sue promptly renders herself invisible, successfully evading the men's pursuit to remain concealed. In her haste, she attempts to contact Kristoff for assistance, but he proves to be unavailable. Sue turns to Toby for support, and he offers her words of encouragement, drawing a parallel to the bravery exhibited by the Supermoon character in her beloved comic book. The following morning, Sue, accompanied by Toby, returns to her mother's car, intent on retrieving her laptop, hopeful that it might hold vital information concerning Alfred and the identity of her mother's captors. While they are at the car, Sue receives a mysterious call instructing her to enter the vehicle's trunk with the utmost haste. Although hesitant, she senses the urgency of the situation and, along with Toby, complies with the cryptic directive. As Sue and Toby crouch within the confines of the car's trunk, they bear witness to the search conducted by Dr. Drill's men in the vicinity. When the trunk is eventually opened from the outside, they discover App, who, with her technological skills, has managed to overcome and incapacitate the guards. Sue elucidates her belief that Dr. Drill is detaining her mother and reiterates her determination to infiltrate his facility to effect her rescue. Leveraging her newfound powers, Sue renders both herself and Toby invisible as they surreptitiously enter the facility. While their search within the facility doesn't yield Maria, Toby stumbles upon a cell phone on the floor, which appears to belong to her. Dr. Drill and his relentless men nearly close in on Sue, Toby, and App. But with swift thinking and their newfound powers, they manage to narrowly elude their pursuers. App takes Sue and Toby to her aunt's house, Lore, who insists on speaking to Sue privately. As they converse, it becomes evident that Lore recognizes Maria, as they were once research partners. Lore had warned Maria about the perils associated with her experiment, advice that Maria had heedlessly disregarded. Within Lore's abode, App examines the videos retrieved from Maria's phone. In doing so, they unearth footage of Maria running and being assaulted, with the phone inadvertently dropping and ultimately being found by Toby. It is revealed that Alfred, an AI device concealed within Maria's bag, serves as her invaluable assistant. Through Alfred's holographic projection, they glean crucial information. The NT-26D can solely respond to Sue's blood, and despite Maria's efforts, an antidote remains elusive. Their deduction leads them to a pivotal revelation. Dr. Drill is truly after Sue, not her mother. It is Sue who possesses the key to operationalizing the NT-26D, safeguarding her mother's identity. In an attempt to protect Sue, her mother ingeniously switched beds with Toby, creating a ruse to deceive their captors. Although they initially mistake Toby for Sue, they quickly realize their error and depart, inadvertently leaving behind a syringe, which Toby stumbles upon when he awakens in the morning. App equips Sue with a specially designed suit tailored to enhance her control over her invisibility powers and help her stay vigilant. Shortly thereafter, Sue receives a call from Maria, who appears to be on the run from an undisclosed facility. Maria instructs Sue to meet her at the old market by the fountain within the hour. Upon their arrival at the market, Sue, Toby, and App become increasingly apprehensive as they discern that something isn't right. Dr. Drill's men are closing in on them, and they swiftly realize that they have fallen into a trap. Through quick thinking and resourcefulness, they manage to escape the encroaching danger by commandeering a pizza delivery bike, leaving their pursuers behind. Unbeknownst to them, Linnea has been covertly tailing their movements in a car as they continue to follow Alfred's signal, leading them to the abandoned factory. Toby, however, begins to waver in his resolve, grappling with doubts about their plan and the uncertainty of their next steps. A heated argument ensues between Sue and Toby, with Sue provoking Toby for his fear and suggesting that he might be better off attending the Halloween party with Eileen and her clique. With a heavy heart, Toby decides to part ways, leaving Sue and App to face their uncertain fate. Unfortunately, their escape plan doesn't go as smoothly as they had hoped, as they find themselves trapped by relentless surveillance drones. In an attempt to divert attention and flee, Sue deploys an NT-26D device that creates a significant explosion. However, the chaos and intensity of the situation take a toll on her, and she loses consciousness. Upon regaining consciousness, Sue is surprised to find herself beside her mother, who is casually reading her comic book. Concerned about the welfare of her friends, Sue inquires about their whereabouts. Maria explains that App is still patiently waiting at the abandoned factory, while Toby is enjoying the Halloween party. However, Sue soon realizes that she's locked inside her own room and is unable to escape, even through the window. The shocking revelation dawns upon Sue when she discovers that the person she believed to be her mother is, in fact, Linnea in disguise. Linnea had surreptitiously injected herself with Sue's blood while she was unconscious, with the hope of acquiring her own set of superpowers. This startling revelation is corroborated by the evidence presented in Alfred's footage, which Sue stumbles upon later. Simultaneously, the real Maria arrives to collect App from the abandoned factory and embarks on a mission to locate her daughter, unraveling the intricate web of deception. Sue initially has her doubts, but she eventually accepts the authenticity of Maria when she activates Alfred, a significant confirmation, as only members of the Hartman family can successfully activate the AI. Together, Maria and Sue proceed to the Halloween party, where they are determined to rescue Toby. They are fully aware that Linnea is targeting him in order to eliminate any potential witnesses. During their journey, Maria keeps her promise and gives Sue the antidote for her invisibility. Sue, however, finds herself hesitating to use it, as she now questions whether she truly needs a cure. Maria refrains from pressing the matter further. Sue's plan is set in motion at the Halloween party. She decides to inject Linnea with the antidote to defeat her. Eileen, one of Sue's schoolmates, is dancing with Toby at the party. However, Eileen briefly steps away to get more drinks and reprimand one of her friends, a behavior that Sue finds unusual. Realizing that Linnea has disguised herself as Eileen, Sue deduces that the real Eileen is hidden somewhere at the party. Sue takes charge and instructs App to create fog effects, which effectively confuses Linnea. This distraction allows Sue to rescue Toby safely. She then injects Linnea with the antidote and offers Toby a heartfelt apology for her previous actions. The three of them take the unconscious Linnea to the rooftop, where they unexpectedly encounter Aunt Lore. It is revealed that Aunt Lore is the true mastermind behind the entire elaborate scheme. Aunt Lore's ultimate desire is to obtain the NT-26D from Sue's veins for her own purposes. Aunt Lore is the one Linnea has been working for, and she has been pulling the strings all along. She orchestrated the abduction of Sue's parents as part of her grand plan. In a selfless and courageous move, Sue injects herself with the antidote, rendering the NT-26 the useless and thwarting Aunt Lore's sinister agenda. To further disrupt Aunt Lore's control, Sue ingeniously places one of App's devices in Aunt Lore's wheelchair, causing it to move and spin uncontrollably. Amidst the chaos that ensues, Aunt Lore is defeated. Sue is at last reunited with her family and friends, and they share heartwarming embraces. Following her exhausting journey, Sue eventually falls asleep. Upon waking, Sue finds herself under the care of her parents in App's luxurious mansion. Sue, App, and Toby collectively realize that the antidote may not be as effective as they initially thought. Despite the uncertainty, they decide to continue their adventure, harnessing their newfound invisibility powers together, and ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead.
That's all for this movie. Thank you for watching.